Viewer discretion is advised.
Yeah, sawdust panels, 13 tons of sawdust panels. So I started looking more at, you know, 980s and stuff like that, and, nope, it's over here. And, yeah, I was like, you know what, yeah, I'm going to go with a 980. Jeff ended up getting a 980. I think he got some tax money back and was able to afford it, which was pretty cool. And he's just been loving it. He has been absolutely loving his 980. He can play like every game at almost max and just have like no issues, and he's just like he's loving it. So I definitely want to get a 980. But I was looking around for like, you know, there's a lot of different companies that sell 980s. I think Jeff got an MSI one. But there's a lot of different companies out there that sell, you know, 980s, MSI, EVGA, a ton. So I was looking around and I was like, I don't know what I want to go with. And I thought about just going with a MSI, but, you know, when I was still shopping around, one, I didn't have the money for it, and two, I didn't have the money, so I was like, yeah, you know what, it's not that big of a priority. So it was something that I would shop around occasionally. It wasn't anything that I was like, I need this now. So I was just kind of waiting, and then while I was waiting, I'm subscribed to Jay's 2 Cents on YouTube. He's him and Barnacle Nerdgasm do you know, a show Tech Talk together, and then they also, you know, they both do their own but they both have their channels, which are very entertaining. I really like watching their videos. It's a good way to get tech and humor at the same time, which is pretty cool. You know, Jay's 2 Cents is a little more tech review-y, benchmarky sort of, you know, products and stuff like that, and Barnacle's is sort of the other stuff. Like, he does more like keyboard reviews, chairs, like, he's kind of all over the place. Barnacle's can do like anything. Jay's 2 Cents, a little more like tech and stuff like that. So I like watching both of them. And Jay's 2 Cents, you know, mentioned, you know, he did a review for a 980 hybrid, which is actually a pre-filled, liquid-cooled 980. And I was like, whoa, that's really cool. Like a pre-filled 980, because, you know, with his computer, I mean, who isn't jealous of Jay's 2 Cents computer? I mean, the Skunkworks is amazing. I mean, like, it's a custom, you know, liquid-cooled loop and just like it's just, it's insane. And recently he put 3 Titan X's in it. That doesn't even, that makes, my brain explodes from that. So yeah, I'm very jealous of his computer. But I don't have the budget or the know-how, or, you know, one day I'll build my own custom, or maybe not build my own custom, but I'll have a, you know, a GPU and a CPU liquid cooled loop with like pumps and radiators and stuff like that, and reservoirs and stuff like that. But as of right now, I just don't want to do all that. I also don't have a good case for it. I have a big case, but it's not very customizable. It's kind of just, it's there. So, you know, he did a review on this 980 hybrid, and it's pre-filled. It's like if you go out and you buy like a Corsair like H55 or H60, like a CPU liquid cooler. It's just like that. It's just a graphics card. 980 is from EVGA. It has a reference cooler on it. It has one fan on it. And what's really cool is the fan that is powered. The fan that's on the radiator is powered through the graphics card, so you don't even take up a fan slot or a 3-pin or 4-pin connector on a fan on the motherboard. And I was like, man, that's really cool. Like, and he reviewed it, and the thing never really got, like, I think he did 1440p on a couple games, you know, Far Cry 3 and whatnot. And I think he said it never got over 50C, I think was the highest it got, like 51C, which is really good, considering that my current graphics card, while under load, it never drops below 70C. That's pretty hot. It also has 2 fans on it that are quite loud. And I live in a hot climate. Now, I was thinking about, is this actually going to be practical? Well, I live in California. Summer's definitely coming up. Heat is a very big issue for PCs. You're already having things of the like I can be in mid-winter, and yes, your California winters aren't that cold, but let's say on the coldest, I've had it where it's been, wow, this lane's going pretty slow. I've had it where it's been 30 Fahrenheit outside, you know, and in my room where my PC is, it's up at 70 Fahrenheit, 75, 80 Fahrenheit, just simply off of the computer running. So that's quite a bit of a difference there. So, I mean, it could be cold outside, but the heat of the computers is just constantly. So when it's hot outside, or it's hot in the room just because outside is hot, then you also have the added heat of a computer, and the computer components getting really hot and stuff. I thought, you know, I think I can really utilize the cooling here with this card, and you know, utilize the pre-filled liquid cooling, and keep that card cool. And in the same time, it might even reduce some of the, because it's never really going to get over 50C, it might even reduce some of the one, noise would be a thing that would be reduced. Okay, just come on over. Shit. Jesus, that truck was like, yep, just gonna come on over. Jesus Christ. So anyway, if the card never really gets above 50C, then the heat that the the radiator's capturing and the fans are blowing out isn't gonna be that hot, compared to my, God, I cannot talk. Compared to my current card, which is like, 75C, 80C, I think is the highest I've seen it go. And that's just, all those fans are doing is just pushing 80C heat out. It's just like, here you go, here's the heat right into the case. And that's one thing too. All that heat just gets pushed right into the case. With the 980 hybrid, it'll go through, that heat will get captured in the liquid cooling loop, go into the radiator and get blown out of a vent. So I saw that and I was like, man, that's really cool. The benchmarks, I mean, it's a 980. The benchmarks are really good. The temperature was really cool. I have the space for something like that. I have the fan controllers for something like that, because what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of altering. I'm going to, Jay's 2 Cents did a review on these fans that he really liked. I think they were I can't remember. They're some sort of brand of fan. I can't remember what they were. But he said that they were absolutely amazing for pushing and pulling through radiators. So what I'm probably going to end up doing is getting 2 of those and replacing the one fan that is already with the EVGA on that radiator with one of those, and then putting another one. So it's going to be a push-pull through the radiator. Kind of like what I have currently set up for my CPU, but for the graphics card. So I have a little more fans going, so I should have a little bit better cooling. And then at the same time, the only thing is the spot where the radiator and fan are gonna go for the 980 is currently where my CPU liquid cooling is at. So I'm actually gonna have to invest in a different CPU liquid cooling, which is fine, because if you watched my release video on my PC, you saw that or the extended video actually, I had a couple issues with my liquid cooling in my case and everything, and the spot that I was in, even though Cooler Master told me it worked in that spot, it didn't work. So it's kind of jerry-rigged in there. So I'm going to invest in a different one and kind of replace a different fan, the fan at the top of the case, which I actually really like and I kind of don't want to get rid of, but it is what it is. This big 200mm fan at the top, that's just a big exhaust fan. I'm going to put a radiator there, a dual radiator, so it'll have 2 fans side by side. So I'll put that there, and I'll have that for the CPU, so that'll be pushing air out of the radiator, out of the top, and cooling the CPU, and then I'll have the push-pull on the GPU, so I'll have liquid-cooled CPU and GPU, and then at the same time I can, yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm excited. I'm excited to do that. Don't know when I'll be able to get that card. Gotta get the funds up. Not cheap. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to, you know, playing GTA 5 on a 980. Jeff's just raving about how amazing it is, and this game with a 980 and whatnot, because yeah, I have a 760. It's not a terrible card. It's not a great card. It's kind of a mid-range card at this point. You know, I got it for a really good price, which is why I bought it. You know, I spent a good amount of money on my PC for like other things, like the motherboard, which is something that's going to be able to stay around for a long time and upgradable. And you know, I spent money elsewhere besides the graphics card, just because I know, one, the graphics cards, you'll always have to keep constantly upgrading graphics cards. They'll never stop making graphics cards. You know, it'll just constantly always be, here's a new one, here's a better one, here's a good one. So, and they're easy to replace. They're easy to just, you know, but they can be a little bit pricey. But you spend a little bit of money, you get it, you know, a graphics card that lasts you 2 years, hopefully 3, and then you get another one. So it is what it is. Looking forward to it. So we only got 53 kilometers, so it's going to be a pretty quick trip. So yeah, another quick thing, since we're on the topic of computers and liquid cooling. You know, my old Dell, the one I used to YouTube with, a lot of you know that I just pretty much use that for a media CPU is what I was going to say, a media computer at this point, just watch Netflix and stuff like that on it. But I've been having some trouble with the CPU being cool. It literally just idles at 50C. Just nothing going on, just 50C. It'll get up to 60, 70C, just being in use, and it's like, geez, that is crazy hot. I mean, I know it's an Intel processor. It's not overclocked or anything. It's just crazy hot, which then causes the CPU fan on top to spin up, which then makes it, the CPU fan will literally spin at 2,000 to 2,500 RPM. At one point, it even got up to 3,000. So I ended up doing was taking the CPU fan off and the heatsink off and reapplying thermal paste, and you know, I went out and I looked online for some fan replacements, because I was like, man, I gotta get some better fans in this thing, get some better airflow. There's only 3 fans in the entire computer. One in the front for intake, the actual CPU fan itself, which it just sits on the heatsink on top of the CPU, which isn't a big heatsink, and it's not a great fan, and the fan has a shroud that literally, you know, funnels all the heat to the door of the case, which then goes nowhere. So you're pretty much just pushing heat against an object that's pretty much a wall. So I was like, that's a stupid design. And then on the back, you have a 92mm exhaust. Yeah, sure, 92 is not that small, but it's not that great. 92, like what? So I actually went out and bought a Corsair H55, pretty cheap, you know, from Fry's. Liquid cooling, 120mm radiator and fan. The only thing is, I can't put it on the front mount because it just doesn't work. It's too far away. So I can't put it on the rear because it's 92, so I have nowhere to put it. So what I'm actually going to do, since I got to take the motherboard out anyway to be able to fit the actual brackets for the liquid cooling on the processor, while I'm doing that, I'm going to go ahead and just take a drill. This sounds extreme, I know. I'm going to go ahead and just take a drill, and I'm going to make the holes for the screws of the 120mm and be able to put the radiator on the back. So it'll be 120 inlet fan on the front and a 120 exhaust on the back. At the same time, I'll be able to eliminate the CPU fan because it'll be liquid cooled. So that should bring, 1, the temperature down, and 2, the noise down. So I'm gonna, all I gotta do is drill the holes for the screws to come in, and then I have to I'm gonna drill some more, because it's a 92mm. They have you know, vent holes for a 92mm, not 120. So I'm actually just gonna go ahead and go back there and just drill bigger or more holes for 120mm cooling. So it sounds a bit extreme, but it's the only way to get that liquid cooling in there, and it's just that heat is crazy. I mean, like 60 degrees Celsius just pretty much doing nothing is just, that's way too hot. That thing is 2,500 RPM just like sitting there, like that's ridiculous. So I got to do something about that. So gonna do that one day. That'll be a project, but I might post pictures on Twitter as I'm doing it. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. All right, let's go ahead and drop this off. This might have been 3 episodes. We've been going for almost an hour. I think this is going to be 3, maybe even 4 episodes. So I don't know. We'll see how it turns out in editing. I know some people are like, oh, make the episodes longer or make them shorter, but honestly, I never plan on making episodes short or long. It's just all how they turn out in editing. So, like, one video will be 20 minutes, one will be 11. That's just how it worked in editing. So, let's go ahead and drop the trailer. We got 258 kilometers, 3 hours, 40 minutes, 101 liters of fuel, 9,100 euros, and 367 XP. So, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll do Euro Truck again soon-ish, maybe? I don't know. We got a lot of games to play. I actually bought Jeff Dirt Rally, so I know me and him are going to be having some fun with that, making that video that I talked about, my first impressions. So yeah, lots of videos coming out, more GTA 5. We do plan on recording the next heist. So some of you have been waiting for the next heist. It's just been crazy trying to get everybody around at the same time. So we do plan on doing the next heist, so hopefully that'll happen at some point. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. I'm going to go sit in the AC, so bye.